Yo, 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 what's good, you guys? Your boy Ben Mahari here, representing Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Good morning to all my subscribers out there, all the people out there, getting through the grind of the week, man. And hopefully, you guys been having a good spring thus far. Hope y'all been having a good 2022, thus far, man. But I wanted to particularly talk about this video about my concerns for about Ja Morant. I know it's been kind of a little bit late, but this is my overall thoughts because I wanted to have a good comprehensive, discussion about my issues with Ja Morant. And it's nothing with him personally at all. I just wanted to make that very clear off the rip. But one of the big concerns I have with Ja Morant in terms of his longevity in the NBA is the way. How can I put this in proper context? Here's how I put this. My concern for Ja Morant in terms of his longevity in the NBA is his playing style. And we know how much of an aggressive slasher Ja Morant is. I mean, a guy contorts his body and he goes right at you, towards the rim. Do you know what he reminds me of? A young prime Derrick Rose before he tore his knee up. You know what I'm saying? Derrick Rose, if Derrick Rose didn't had his infamous knee injury in the playoffs against the Philadelphia 76ers, this man was on trajectory to making it to the Hall of Fame. When I compare those two guys in terms of their stage of their careers, I see a lot of a young Derrick Rose and Ja Morant in terms of his ability to contort himself in the air and find different ways to finish at the basket. And combine that with his ability to drive the ball to the basket as well. The potential of this kid is unbelievable. And he also gives me reminders of a young Allen Iverson as well, because the way that he attacks the rim and the way he accepts the punishment when he attacks the rim reminds me a lot of that as well, especially in the early 2000s of Allen Iverson when he was at his top best. But the problem I see with him is how long can he sustain this right now? Right now, he's 22 years old. You know what I mean? The kid, went through a bone bruise in the playoffs. All right. And I'm sure it won't affect him next season as well. He's going to have a lot of time to heal up. But he's only 22 years of age. And the man has already gone through the bumps and the grinds of a 8 year to 10 year vet. All right. And my issue with them is that long term, how long can he sustain this? All right. Because at some point in time, that body is not going to be able to handle the rigorous punishment that it endures on an everyday basis. I mean, I remember Penny Hardaway in his prime when he was, full healthy and all. This man was an explosive combo guard. But when the knees started to give out on him around 97, he was never the same player again. And the same thing can be said for Derrick Rose, too. Once his knee gave out, it just continued to pile on more injuries left and right, and he was never the same player again. And that's what my concern is, because I really love his game, and I really love the way that he comes at you. I mean, the MVP trophy is in his horizon, but the problem when I also another concern about them is that, and another thing too, the man needs to stop going on social media a lot of the time. He What really disturbed me was that when he had his bone bruise in game 3 against the Golden State Warriors, all right, and he tried to put some of the blame on Jordan Poole for basically, AKA, grabbing his knee, when in actuality, he injured his knee on a poor closeout against Klay Thompson and bumped knees on him. All right, you can go look at the replays. That's what really happened. All right. So, and then he goes on Twitter and says, dude broke code, and which is in reference to Steve Kerr's comments in game 1 of that series when Dylan Brooks injured Gary Payton Jr. on that hard foul towards the layup, which pretty much messed up Payton Jr.'s elbow, right? And my concern is that he might be putting his attention to all wrong places instead of focusing on his basketball. And he's only 22 years old, and he's gonna make a lot of mistakes as a youngster. But as you get older, people are not gonna give you the same kind of rope anymore, and they're gonna expect a lot more out of you. And my concern about him is that if he puts himself in bad places where, like, sometimes he likes to go out to the clubs like during playoff series, like, bro, if he focuses more on his basketball, not saying that he isn't, but if he keeps it more towards basketball based instead of focusing on all these other things outside of that, his game can even be more explosive than what it is right now. And that's one of my other concerns about it too. In terms of basketball wise, he needs to continue to improve on his shooting. All right. The man, you know, can has goes through some stretches where he can be very streaky, but then there are times where, he sometimes can be a little cold with in terms of his jump shot. Being able to use the mid-range jump shot, combine that with his long-range shot, and also being able to use floaters in the lane will definitely help his arsenal a lot. It will help him expand his game, especially as he gets older when the athleticism starts to deteriorate. Having those basic fundamental skills, combine that with his playmaking ability, will definitely make him more of a valuable guard as the time goes on. But still, at the same time, I think that Ja Morant's future is very bright. And I like the way the Memphis Grizzlies have constructed on this team thus far. And their GMs even made it clear that he'll spend a lot of money to make sure to keep this man happy as much as possible. Whatever you got to do, you got to continue to build around the talents of him. I think one of the things they need to really improve on is getting more playmakers around him to really help his game a lot more. Finding shooters out there that can really help him out, and also getting a couple of rebounders in there as well that could really help him out there too as well. Those things that are going to come through time and through precise planning through the draft. But I really like his game, and those are my concerns. I just want him to stay more focused to basketball, not worry about stuff on social media, but also in the fact that you also have a father too that's always very supportive of him and can be a little bit outlandish, but I don't mind his father a lot. I think he's one of those fathers that just wants to be there for his son a lot of the time, and I really respect that from Mr. Morant. You know what I'm saying? But those are my concerns about John Morant. I know that this guy is going to continue to develop his game, but he needs to continue to keep himself focused on basketball and take care of his body too. Because I don't want to see a repeat of what happened to Derrick Rose, because this man Derrick Rose was already an MVP by the time he injured his knee. And when he injured his knee in those playoffs against the Philadelphia 76ers in 2012, he was never the same player again, as I mentioned. And I don't want to see that from John Moran, because his talent and his ability, his potential is very much a Hall of Famer. I'm saying his potential is, but I'm really worried that if he doesn't, learn how to like land properly, if he doesn't, take care of his body very well, if he doesn't continue to develop those, basic fundamental skills that will make him even much more of a complete player and keep them fingers away from social media, his career could end possibly within 8 years. You know what I mean? And I don't want to see that from him. This guy is too special of a talent to see that go to waste like that. So that's what I'm going to be more particularly worried of as his career continues to progress. But the future's there for this kid, and I hope that he continues to build his talent. And I hope that the Memphis Grizzlies don't waste their time, you know, giving him the wrong pieces and pretty much ruining his prime years. So that's just pretty much my 2 cents. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. And with that, I'm out. Peace.